Hey there, my name is Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about some of the best practices to use with the IPICO readers. Now let's go ahead and move on to during the race. After the race has begun, you're going to want to go ahead and monitor things. Things you're going to be looking for: battery level. Are things going okay? Do you have an external battery connected? If not, just keep an eye on that battery as the race goes on. Make sure all of your antennas stay connected securely. If for some reason there was an issue there, you wouldn't want one to drop out, so please keep monitoring that. And then also, when you're wrapping up the race, as things are finishing up, you're going to want to start downloading that data. So go ahead and grab a USB stick and stick that into one of the USB ports on the reader. That will automatically trigger a download of all the information for that race, as well as any other information on the reader. That's a good way to make a quick local backup. And then that way you can bring that in just in case into your system. For whatever reason, your timing software didn't collect all that. Next up, when you're coiling these cables, you're going to want to make sure that there's an 8 to 10 inch diameter for these. Wrapping them too tightly is going to damage that cable, and that's going to affect the signal strength over time. So this is a good example of a good 8 or 10 inches that you're going to want to be able to store all these cables for long-term use. And again, just check these out, make sure they're dry, make sure they're clean of any dirt or debris, and make sure there's nothing nicked or exposed here on the connector. All right, I think that's most of our best practices. The next thing that I want to talk about in terms of, we covered the reader, but now we want to talk more about the mats and the layout of the antennas. So if you take a look at our photo, what you'll notice is that we have a flap that opens up where you can insert the antenna flat into the channel that's built into the mat. And there's also some cable channels where you can run the cables cleanly and in an organized fashion throughout the mat. So as you're doing this, you're going to want to make sure that the layout opens up correctly so that as the runners are crossing over, they're not going to trip, they're not going to open up that flap. So the direction is very important as you're laying these out on the course. When it comes to adding additional cables, whether that's audio equipment or power cables, I would actually recommend not doing that, because the thing that you could introduce is noise that could affect the signal strength, as well as bulking up that channel that was built specifically for our cabling, specifically for these antennas. So if you're going to be running extra cabling, you might be a little bit more considerate to use that outside of our existing mats, as we want to keep that specifically for our antennas. I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you learned a lot.